Good morning, Idaho. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Spencer Blake.
Within a 200-yard radius of where I'm standing, there are a few 100,000 bees.
So with all these twists and turns and the labyrinth that is a BSU football helmet, what's to keep the tractor operator from getting lost in his own maze? Perhaps the biggest thing we learned is that it's nothing like the movies. Even with 3 varieties of shark and an Atlantic barracuda, they assure me I'm safe in the tank.
We are breaking into our regular programming.
A CUNA school bus has been involved with a crash with a semi-truck. This happened. There are at least 2 ambulances on the scene, and of course the big news right now that we do have confirmed is that 1 child on that bus has been killed this morning. We're still getting lots of details.
Joining us by phone right now is Deputy Chief Doug Strohsnyder with the Nampa Fire Department.
Their investigation out here.
I understand also that parents of the children on that bus also arrived on scene. Is that correct?
Yeah, there were some parents here.
We should be able to find any of these details as we have them throughout the day, and it's just a tough morning.
It is a tough morning.
These white particles floating around are solidified grease. If you look down at the ground, it just looks like, the snow is still nice and even. When you step in there, though, it's quite a lot deeper than you think.
Today's ballot was also full of state and local election issues as well. None more closely watched than the so-called Luna laws. Could have been the downfall of the potential downfall of the Yes campaign for Props 1, 2, and 3. Maybe they perceived that they had too much of a Republican showing in this very red state. Do you think that they underperformed and didn't work hard enough to get that vote?
Without a doubt. When Proposition first came out,
Michelle, it was a new tradition going on here tonight at the start of a new season. Of course, after decades of playing on the blue turf over at Bronco Stadium, finally the Braves and the Lions have a place to call their own home. Well, guys, we just want to convey to you how cool the Boise Airport can be, so I'm going to take you on a ride behind the scenes next on Good Morning Idaho. The first opening day of a full racing season at La Bois Park. Queremos recordarles de nuestra colección anual de abrigos y frazadas.
Good morning, Idaho. I'm Spencer Blake with some breaking news this morning. Just as same-sex couples got inside the Ada County Courthouse to apply for marriage licenses about 25 minutes ago, Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy temporarily blocked the appellate court's ruling that legalized gay marriage in Idaho. Chris Oswalt is live right now outside the courthouse there. Chris, did any couples actually get their marriage licenses today?
No, Spencer, nobody.
An independent financial audit of the Nampa School District confirms a budgeting error and not fraud led to the district's financial crisis. Garcia says it's ironic that the TCEQ would allow the city to put more selenium back into the drinking water for the sake of aquatic life. You can see that too when we stand up here right now, but should we take some free throws then?
Let's take some free throws.
Oh, no laughing. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Tied. Well, here's a look at what's making headlines across the nation and overseas this morning. Nearly 2 million pounds of ground beef products are being recalled over possible E. coli contamination. The recall covers beef from Wolverine Packing Company in Detroit. A complete list of those recalled products, which were sent to restaurants, can be found on the FSIS website. Fire officials say they expect the most destructive of Southern California's recent wildfires to be fully contained by Thursday. The blaze in San Marcos erupted last Wednesday. Altogether, about a dozen wildfires in San Diego County burned dozens of homes, apartments, and businesses. And nasal strips won't keep California Chrome from possibly making history next month. Race officials say the horse will be allowed to use the strips in the 3rd event of the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes in New York. The strips had been banned in the state previously, but the State Gaming Commission found that nasal strips do not enhance performance nor pose a health risk. That's a look at some of this morning's headlines.
If you kept your eyes on the Olympics in Sochi at all, you might have been blown away by flips on the half pipe or spins on the figure skating rink.
Yeah, but there's another sport that's usually leaving people with their, they're scratching their heads. They don't know what's going on, really.
Yeah, so we went out and about to Idaho Ice World to find that close counts in more than just horseshoes and hand grenades.
You guys ready?
Okay. Here's a class you probably didn't take in PE, and a sport you never played with your neighborhood buddies. So if you know nothing about curling, we'll let it slide. The winter relative of shuffleboard isn't extremely well known in Idaho, or in most places for that matter.
When I saw it, I liked the teamwork and the strategy. I just liked, it was just kind of like they call it chess on ice.
But lately, it's sweeping more and more people off their feet.
Every 4 years, we get a huge boost in interest in our club.
All thanks to the Olympics.
All thanks to the Olympics, yeah. Because everyone sees the Olympics and they want to try out this cool sport they see on TV, just like I did.
So here's a little 101. Teams of 4 people take turns sliding, or throwing, 16 of these 40-pound stones across the ice towards a target, or house. Your team gets 1 point for every stone that ends up closer to the bullseye, or button, than your opponent's closest stone. Confused yet?
All the basic stuff is pretty easy to learn, and then you kind of catch on to the lingo as you go along.
But everyone always wants to know about the frantic sweepers. What exactly are they cleaning up? Actually, they're just warming up the ice to their own advantage.
This is just basically I think it's a nylon fabric. You can get a stone to travel about 8 to 15 feet farther if you actually sweep the whole way.
Overall, this gentleman's sport usually has very little friction between opposing teams. It may not be fast-paced, but you have to admit, this game is pretty slick. And the Boise Curling Club already has had several learn to curl classes. You know, people get excited around the Olympics, like they said. And there have been so many people wanting to sign up, they actually added extra classes.
They were going really high, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to death.
12-year-old Donovan Dillon was the only person home when he saw a huge flash of lightning light up his room Monday night. That bolt may have been the spark that started what he saw next on the back porch.
I opened my window slightly, just slightly, and I saw a fire. It looked like just two flares of fire beaming towards the, what do you call that, transformer.
Donovan immediately called 911 and got out of the house, even though he was worried about 4 very important things.
Bear, Queenie, Sasha, and Rowdy.
Nampa firefighters rescued all of the family's dogs before the flames spread any farther than a bathroom.
There was heavy smoke inside when we went in. It was almost to the floor of the whole house when we did go inside.
Donovan's parents, who had both been at work, rushed home to find their son okay.
I'm proud of him. You know, it's amazing as a parent to know that you get actually paid attention to these.
So my mom hugged me really tight, and then my dad squeezed the crud out of me. He hugged like a bear hug, but he knocked the wind out of me. He was that happy I was alive.
Spencer Blake, 6 on your side.
As the sun rises on a cool September morning south of Boise, bales of straw occupy what will soon be a packed parking lot at Linder Farms. The family-run business that started out as a pumpkin patch added a corn maze 9 years ago to keep up with autumnal entertainment competition.
Well, this year's is my favorite, I've got to tell you.
Randy Feist and his wife are the owners of the only corn maze officially licensed by Boise State University.
Each year we try to choose something that is unique and specific to that year for the Broncos.
And in 2012, the athletic department is pushing the phrase, "We are Bronco Nation." That's how Feist ultimately decided on a maze design like this. Certainly no task for something as simple as a machete or even a lawnmower, but maze cutter Sean Stolworthy can handle it.
You know, this maze is one of the more intricate mazes with the Broncos design. It's kind of a lot of fun.
He and his company, Maze Play, start getting cornfield dimensions and winding design ideas from farms around the country as early as December or January.
With 100 mazes, it takes a little while.
Stolworthy uses a computer-assisted drafting program to create the perfect interconnected design for Linder Farms. So with all these twists and turns and the labyrinth that is a BSU football helmet, what's to keep the tractor operator from getting lost in his own maze?
We load that into a GPS that's on a tractor, and that helps guide me through the field, and I drive the tractor through the field and cut the paths. We've been on that yellow line.
After a day and a half or so of literal trailblazing, Bronco Nation's transition from computer to corn is finally complete.
It feels like it's something that can bring us together, even though politics might divide us a little bit. We've got the Broncos to pull us together.
Did you get lost?
Not much anymore. You kind of get used to it over time, but occasionally, yeah.
Without help from satellites, the 40,000 people who meander through Linder Farms this year will likely take much longer to finish, assuming they ever find the exit at all. Spencer Blake, today's 6 on your side.